Last week, we featured an event that introduced you to the coders of the future. This week, we ask what happens when you collect 10 of the brightest young minds in South Africa and put them to work to solve the nation's problems. The Hip2BSquare Innovation Challenge. That's what. We sent Clive to rub shoulders with the extraordinary youngsters.
10 grade 10 learners from across the country. Their mission is to invent something that proposes to solve everyday problems faced by themselves, their families and the communities. This is the 2014 Hip2BSquare Innovations Challenge.
The aim of the Hip2BSquare 3M Innovation Challenge is really to go out into the communities and to get learners, grade 10 learners, excited about science, maths and technology. We really have a scarce skills gap in South Africa in those areas, so that's what we're trying to hope to achieve.
The finalists are chosen from different provinces, then paired up to form 5 teams. They're mentored by industry specialists to help them develop their inventions.
The standard was very high. I think it's much higher than the previous 2 years, and I think they've learned from the past, and the innovations was very good. We've taken from their project idea, from the first idea that they came with, and then we went to the ideas to product lab, and they had to work with designs. They had to think about the structure of their projects, the cost, how big it should be, a lot of interesting things. So we spent 2 days on the designs. We got a lot of input there because it's also a process, and it's a skills thinking process to get them to think differently, because when you come with an idea, and some of the boys are very set on this is how we wanted it, so we had to convince them, that there's a better way and maybe they should look at different ways of doing it.
Today, the 3 grand finalists team presents their innovations to a panel of judges who will choose a single winning team. So these young minds are bursting with fresh creative ideas that will really push us forward in terms of science and technology. The finalists presented their ideas in front of an audience that included the Minister of Science and Technology, Derek Hanekom. But what will the judges be looking for?
Some of the main components we look for is, first of all, how creative is the idea? How much thought has actually gone into thinking about the specific type of product? The second thing is, for us that's important, is how much background study has been done. So, how well did the specific individual or individuals actually research, and how relevant is this? And the third component really is, how marketable is this? We see a huge amount of different ideas that have been distilled over the last 10 to 20 years, okay, but very few of them actually make it to the market, as a result of the fact that they just don't speak strongly enough, either to the community, or to the individual consumer. So I think those are the 3 components really that, make up the sort of bulk of what we as a judge look for.
Simonstown High School in the Western Cape have been selected for their water heating shower device.
We came up with this idea as we have been living at a boarding house for almost a year now. And since we're the juniors, we get to shower last, and most of the times we shower with cold water. So in order to solve this problem, we invented a device that could sufficiently increase the water's temperature until it is suitable enough to shower in.
Students from Moletsane High School in Soweto came up with the idea to fill up potholes.
What you do with the product is that you actually pour it inside the pure hole, stir it to the road and just level it up. And then you wait for 5 minutes to dry.
And representing KZN, Durban High School dreamed up an apparatus that transformed toxic gases into harmless gas and fuel.
This apparatus works using a process called electrolysis. That's the process when you induce a chemical reaction through electricity. We got this idea because we stay in Richards Bay and it's quite polluted and causes a lot of diseases such as asthma, emphysema, and pneumonia. And since it contributes to global warming, it gave us a cause to do this project and try to stop global warming.
By the time these students reach tertiary level, okay, and even enter into the private segment, okay, they have a very, very solid base and understanding, okay, of what it actually takes, to generate something totally brand new. So, I think that's very vital for us in South Africa also, as we start growing the community, as we start growing our skills also, not just from an engineering point of view, okay, but generally in terms of developing our entrepreneurs, which is something that South Africa really desperately needs.
And the winner is, at the end of the process, it was the team from Durban that took top honors. Of course, this is a great challenge as it puts fresh young minds in the position to get some backhand knowledge in science and innovation. Of course, it's great for them and a benefit to our country.